Imagine you're standing in the middle of a vibrant summer meadow. Beneath your feet lies an entire world, hidden from the careless glance. Suddenly, right near the toe of your boot, a blade of grass jerks sharply, and a creature whose ancestors witnessed the birth and demise of the dinosaurs emerges onto a tiny, sandy clearing. The little hunter freezes, twitching its antenna-like feelers. Long before you even manage to notice it, it had already registered your presence through the faintest vibrations of the soil and the chemical trail in the air. It knows the crucial thing about you. You are huge, you are here, but to its home, you are merely an element of the landscape. Meanwhile, looking down at it from above, you knew virtually nothing about it until this very second. Today, we are going to change that. Before you is a representative of one of the most perfect, formidable, and at the same time, creative societies on our planet. A creature that simultaneously evokes the amazement of scientists and the awe of engineers studying architecture. We will break down 100 astounding facts about these tiny masters of the Earth in detail, organizing everything neatly, diving deep into every single point, keeping it concise, impactful, and without unnecessary filler. Be sure to listen to this story until the very end, because ahead lie details that will completely alter your perception of the boundaries of intelligence and endurance in the natural world. Fact 1. Ants are officially recognized as some of the oldest insects on Earth, having witnessed the planet in its primordial state. Scientists refer to them as living monuments of evolution because their basic biological blueprint proves so ideal that it has undergone virtually no fundamental changes over hundreds of millions of years, proving its absolute viability. Fact 2. The evolutionary history of ants on our planet began incredibly long ago, with their first representatives appearing roughly 110 to 130 million years ago. This was the early Cretaceous period, an era when supercontinents were just beginning to break apart into the landmasses we know today, and flowering plants were only starting to conquer dry land. Fact 3. Ants lived confidently and successfully on the planet back during the age of the dinosaurs, sharing ecosystems with them throughout the Mesozoic era. When a massive asteroid struck Earth and wiped out the dominant giant reptiles, the ant nests, hidden deep underground, and the insects' phenomenal ability to adapt helped them successfully survive the planetary nuclear winter. Fact 4. Over millions of years of continuous evolutionary development, a colossal variety of ant species has formed on the planet, and today, there are more than 12,000 officially documented species worldwide. Each of these species has developed its own unique survival mechanisms, ranging from tiny, blind, underground hunters to massive, nomadic, tropical predators. Fact 5. The geographical distribution of ants is truly mind-boggling, as these insects successfully thrive and prosper on almost every continent of our planet. They have managed to successfully colonize the humid tropical rainforests of the Amazon, the arid deserts of Africa, the harsh taiga forests of Siberia, and even high-altitude plateaus, demonstrating incredible biological plasticity. Fact 6. The only continent on Earth entirely devoid of ants is icy Antarctica. The permafrost, complete lack of soil, and extremely low temperatures have created an insurmountable natural barrier to their expansion, as it is impossible to build classic nests or find a steady food supply under such harsh conditions. Fact 7. Due to extremely harsh climatic conditions, late snowmelt, and geographical isolation, ants do not naturally inhabit Iceland and Greenland. Despite the abundance of greenery during the Icelandic summer, the brutal, prolonged winters and the island status of these territories prevented ants from establishing themselves on these northern lands naturally. Fact 8. Ants are truly social insects that represent the absolute pinnacle of the evolution of collective behavior in the natural world. Within their communities, the interests and life of an individual are completely and unconditionally subordinated to the survival of the entire family, with individual selfishness entirely erased for the prosperity of the common home. Fact 9. Almost all existing ant species live exclusively in colonies, which function as a single, harmonious, and precisely operating collective mechanism. Every action within this society is coordinated for the benefit of the community, which is why a colony is often compared to a complex automated factory where downtime never occurs. Fact 10. A solitary lifestyle is completely uncharacteristic of ants, and any individual artificially separated from its family is doomed to a swift and inevitable death. Outside of its society, a lone ant completely loses its chemical landmarks, experiences severe biological stress, and is physiologically incapable of providing itself with proper nutrition. Fact 11. The total scale of the ant civilization is difficult for the human mind to conceive, as trillions upon trillions of ants are living on planet Earth at any given single moment. If we could gather and weigh all the ants on the planet together, their total biomass would be comparable to the average weight of the entire human population on Earth. Fact 12. Due to the secretive lifestyle of ants underground and inside timber, estimates of their exact population vary significantly across various authoritative scientific sources. Since the insect world is hidden from direct sight, entomologists must use complex mathematical models, extrapolating data from sample soil plots to the areas of entire continents. Fact 13. One of the largest ecological assessments reports an incredible number, approximately 20 quadrillion ants existing on Earth simultaneously. This colossal number with 15 zeros means that the planet's entire landmass is literally crisscrossed with invisible ant trails and subterranean communications. Fact 14. Another, more conservative scientific study places the figure at more than 10 quadrillion living individual ants on the planet. Yet, even this minimum threshold leaves the population of any other terrestrial creatures far behind, clearly demonstrating the evolutionary superiority of their unique collective survival strategy. Fact 15. To vividly grasp the demographic scale of ants, consider the proportion. For every single human living today, there are roughly 1 million to several million ants. While you take a single step, millions of new tiny workers are being born and entering the workforce somewhere in the world, ensuring the functioning of ecosystems. Fact 16. The range of sizes among ant families themselves is incredibly vast, and colonies of different species can include anywhere from a few dozen to many millions of individuals. Young colonies or primitive species manage with a tiny circle of relatives, while advanced metropolises construct colossal structures with a rigid internal hierarchy. Fact 17. Some ant supercolonies occupy massive territories, stretching for thousands of kilometers along coastlines and connecting millions of individual nests. In these gigantic networks, ants from different anthills show no aggression toward one another, freely sharing resources and labor to form transcontinental alliances. Fact 18. To maintain stability and order, the supercolonies of certain ant species can include thousands of fertile queens living in complete harmony. This arrangement, known as polygyny, ensures the massive superorganism against demise. If one queen dies of a disease, hundreds of others will continue to continuously replenish the population. Fact 19. The uniqueness of ant society lies in the fact that a massive, multi-million-strong colony is capable of working synchronously, like a single creative organism. An individual ant acts not on the basis of personal reflection, but by obeying a shared information field, much like a cell in a single large body performing its strict, microscopic task. Fact 20. It is precisely because of this ability to act as a single entity that an anthill is often referred to in biological science by the term superorganism. This term emphasizes that the true unit of evolution and natural selection is not the specific small insect, but the entire community as a whole, which possesses the rudiments of a collective intelligence. Fact 21. The anatomical diversity of sizes within the ant family is vast, and the smallest ant species have a body length of only about 1 to 2 millimeters. These tiny creatures lead an entirely unnoticeable lifestyle within the thick layers of forest litter, successfully hunting even smaller soil mites and protozoan organisms. Fact 22. At the same time, the largest ant species on Earth can reach an impressive 5 centimeters in length, turning into true giants of the microworld. Species such as the giant Amazonian ants possess a powerful exoskeleton and are capable of successfully hunting small tree frogs, lizards, and large beetles. Fact 23. An ant's body is structured according to the classic insect blueprint. It has a clearly defined head, thorax, and an expressive abdomen. Each of these three sections carries its own strict functional load, ensuring an ideal balance between mobility, internal organ protection, and the efficiency of working tools. Fact 24. An ant's entire body is reliably covered from the outside by a durable chitinous integument, which plays the vital role of an external skeleton and protective armor. Chitin effectively protects the insect from mechanical damage, falls from heights, enemy bites, and, most importantly, prevents critical moisture loss during arid periods. Fact 25. Just like all true representatives of the insect class, any ant has exactly 6 legs, equipped with grasping microscopic claws at their ends. This structure provides phenomenal stability and traction on any surface. An ant can easily run up a vertical glass wall or hold onto a ceiling upside down. Fact 26. Located on the head of many ant species are highly mobile, jointed antennae that are in constant motion, scanning the surroundings. These elbowed antennae are the insect's main navigation instrument, continuously exploring the environment in search of obstacles, food, or chemical signals from nestmates. Fact 27. An ant's mobile antennae help it flawlessly perceive odors and pick up mechanical vibrations, replacing several sense organs for the insect at once. Thanks to thousands of microscopic receptors on its antennae, an ant literally sees the world in the format of a detailed chemical map, distinguishing the finest nuances of molecules in the air. Fact 28. Ants completely lack ears in our usual human understanding of the organ with eardrums. They do not need auditory canals to orient themselves perfectly in space, because evolution took a completely different path, turning their entire body into a highly sensitive and precise seismograph. Fact 29. Ants perceive any acoustic and mechanical vibrations exclusively through their body and sensitive legs, picking up the slightest trembling of the ground. Special organs in the joints of their legs allow an ant to detect the footsteps of an approaching human or the fall of a raindrop long before the sound travels through the air. Fact 30. The circulatory and respiratory systems of ants are unique because these insects completely lack lungs for the breathing process we are used to. They have no system for actively pumping air, which places strict limits on the maximum size of their body, but makes their passive gas exchange system extremely reliable. Fact 31. Ants breathe through small spiracles, special microscopic openings located along the sides of their thoracic and abdominal body segments. Through these pores, atmospheric air directly penetrates a branching network of tracheal tubes which deliver oxygen straight to every cell of the organism without the involvement of blood. Fact 32. An individual ant's brain is very small by absolute physical measures, yet it is incredibly functional and complex. In terms of the ratio of brain mass to total body mass, ants are recognized as some of the most brainy insects on the planet, allowing them to display a striking flexibility in individual behavior. Fact 33. Entomological sources state that the brain of a single ant contains approximately 250,000 neuron cells, which provide them with highly complex behavioral programs. These neurons are grouped into what are known as mushroom bodies, which are responsible for learning, memory, the ability to navigate by the sun, and the recognition of complex chemical orders from the colony. Fact 34. The primary working tool, construction device, and weapon of ants are their strong upper jaws, which are called mandibles. These mandibles are driven by extremely powerful head muscles that occupy most of the skull, turning the jaws into versatile hydraulic cutters. Fact 35. Powerful mandibles are needed by ants for literally every task in their daily lives, for carrying massive loads, defending against enemies, and large-scale construction. With them, they bite through tough roots, crush food, gently transport fragile eggs, dig rocky soil, and inflict devastating bites on opponents. Fact 36. The physical attributes of ants evoke genuine admiration, as they are capable of lifting and holding a very large weight relative to the size of their small bodies. The laws of biomechanics work in their favor. The smaller a living creature is, the higher the relative strength of its musculature, turning the ant into a genuine superhero of the microworld. Fact 37. Scientific publications frequently point out that an ant's working weight-carrying capacity ranges from 10 to 50 times the mass of the insect's own body. To vividly understand this, imagine a human of comparable relative strength calmly lifting a passenger car over their head and running with it. Fact 38. Certain specialized biological sources mention even higher, truly fantastic estimates of an ant's maximum lifting capacity. Under conditions of ideal mechanical grip between their legs and a rough surface, individual species are capable of moving objects that exceed their own mass 100-fold. Fact 39. The incredible ratio of carried weight to body mass officially makes ants some of the strongest creatures on our planet. Their muscle fibers possess a unique density, and their rigid, chitinous exoskeleton acts as an ideal engineering lever that redistributes colossal loads without causing harm to internal organs. Fact 40. In addition to phenomenal physical strength, ants are capable of running very fast by their microscopic standards, developing great speed. For example, the Saharan silver ant can run a distance exceeding its own body length 100 times in just one single second, escaping the scorching desert sun. Fact 41. Even more astonishing is the fact that some ant species are capable of consciously using various tools to solve complex pressing tasks. This was long considered the exclusive domain of higher primates, but tiny insects completely shattered this scientific dogma through their practical actions. Fact 42. Ants can purposefully select the appropriate object for a specific task, such as using pieces of leaves, bark, or grains of sand as sponges to collect liquids. An ant will dip porous bark into a drop of liquid honey, wait for it to soak up, and then carefully carry this improvised container back to the ant hill. Fact 43. Ants know how to build incredibly complex architectural structures from an engineering standpoint, both deep underground and on the surface. Their underground cities plunge to a depth of several meters, incorporating elaborate labyrinths, ventilation systems, waterproofing, grain warehouses, and royal chambers. Fact 44. Ants are capable of incredibly fast construction of large, above-ground anthill mounds, precisely distributing internal galleries and chambers. The high speed of construction is due to perfect collective coordination. Hundreds of workers simultaneously carry out grains of soil without colliding in narrow passages, thanks to strict adherence to traffic rules. Fact 45. In the process of erecting and repairing their home, ants are capable of carrying and securing building materials with 100% accuracy. They carefully select twigs and pine needles of the right size, laying them at a specific angle so that rainwater rolls off the outer surface of the mound without penetrating the living quarters. Fact 46. The foundation of the evolutionary survival of the ant superorganism is that a strict and clear division of labor exists within any colony. There is no room for chaos or laziness in an ant hill. Every member of the society is born with an inclination toward a certain profession or masters it as they grow older. Fact 47. Different individual ants perform completely different social functions throughout their lives or depending on their current age. Young ants usually begin their careers on internal underground tasks where it is safer, while more mature, strong, and experienced individuals head out to the external, danger-filled frontiers. Fact 48. In a classic developed ant colony, workers, fearless soldiers, caring nurses, and untiring foragers are always clearly distinguished. Soldiers feature massive heads and jaws for combat. Nurses possess developed glands for producing a nutritious secretion, and foragers have excellent topographic memory. Fact 49. Certain specialized individual ants spend their entire lives selflessly caring for the offspring, sorting eggs, larvae, and pupae. They move them from one chamber to another around the clock, strictly regulating the temperature regime. During the day, they lift them closer to the sun-warmed mound top, and at night, they lower them into the deep layers. Fact 50. Other ants, known as foragers, spend entire days tirelessly gathering food far outside their native home to feed the whole family. They explore the surrounding territory within a radius of hundreds of meters, laying down main highways, overcoming obstacles, and risking their lives daily when encountering predators. Fact 51. There are ant soldiers that defend the colony from external enemies, forming a living shield at the entrances and sacrificing themselves during an attack. In some species, the soldiers have heads so wide that they literally use them as plugs, hermetically sealing the narrow entrance holes of the anthill against uninvited guests. Fact 52. There is a separate caste of worker ants that continuously build and repair the nest, updating its walls and clearing the passages of debris. They strictly ensure that ventilation shafts do not get clogged, timely carrying food remnants and construction waste to external dumps, maintaining perfect hygiene inside the metropolis. Fact 53. The economy of ant society can be highly advanced, as certain ant species literally milk aphids, just like humans manage cows. This is one of the most vivid examples of interspecies mutually beneficial cooperation in the wild, where ants act as prudent, caring, and strict pasture owners. Fact 54. Ants fiercely and selflessly defend defenseless aphid colonies from any predatory insects, such as ladybugs and lacewings. They are capable of building special protective enclosures out of clay around the aphid colonies and tenderly transfer their charges to the juiciest and freshest plant shoots for better grazing. Fact 55. In exchange for this round-the-clock protection, aphids excrete drops of a sweet carbohydrate substance, which ants gladly consume and feed to the colony. An ant gently caresses the aphid with its antennae, stimulating it to release a droplet of sweet sap, honeydew, which is immediately consumed by the ant and transported to the nest. Fact 56. To coordinate the actions of millions of individuals, ants communicate using pheromones, a highly complex language of chemical signals. Every gland on an ant's body produces its own unique marker. There is a chemical signal for alarm, a call to gather food, a direction indicator for a new trail, or an order for an immediate attack. Fact 57. To transmit urgent and operational information, ants also actively use tactile touches with their antennae and internal acoustic vibrations. If a forager finds a large prey animal, it returns to the nest and summons a team of helpers with a specific rhythmic tapping of its head against the ground, sending them a precise signal. Fact 58. A specific chemical odor plays a colossal, defining role in the daily communication and entire life of ants. For them, an odor is simultaneously a passport, a newspaper, and a medical record. By the finest trail of molecules, they instantly know a nestmate's age, social status, health, and current job. Fact 59. Biologists have discovered that every individual ant colony possesses its own unique chemical scent, characteristic only of that group. This unique cocktail of hydrocarbons is formed due to a shared diet, the microclimate of the nest, and the queen secretions, creating an insurmountable barrier to genetically foreign individuals. Fact 60. It is precisely because of this reliable friend or foe chemical marker that ants recognize outsiders immediately and instantly attack them. Any ant that attempts to infiltrate someone else's castle without the correct scent password will be immediately identified by the guards as a spy or robber and ruthlessly destroyed. Fact 61. Contrary to popular myth, these living biological machines do not work around the clock, as ants are physiologically incapable of staying awake continuously. Their endurance has its strict limits, and nature has created a unique, highly effective system of rest for them that does not halt the life of the nest. Fact 62. Ants sleep for short, intermittent periods that are evenly and alternately distributed throughout the entire 24-hour day. Instead of a long night's sleep like humans are used to, ants utilize a system of micronaps, which allows them to instantly engage in the work process during any emergency or attack. Fact 63. An authoritative source states that an individual worker ant takes an average of about 100 short sleep periods per day. These pauses last only a few minutes each, during which the ant drops still, lowers its antennae and head, completely relaxing its musculature for a brief reboot of its nervous system. Fact 64. Another study of insect rhythms cites an even more astonishing figure: up to 250 very short rest pauses a day for a single worker ant. This fragmentation of sleep allows the organism to regulate its energy balance with jewelry-like precision, minimizing the accumulation of fatigue in the insect's muscles. Fact 65. These micronaps are organized in a staggered fashion within the anthill, and these chess-like breaks help the entire colony work without stopping 24 hours a day. While 1/3 of the anthill sleeps, the other 2/3 continue digging, guarding, and carrying food, ensuring absolute continuity of all the superorganism's life processes. Fact 66. As for the lifespan of different castes, ordinary worker ants can live up to several years, which is a massive lifespan for the insect world. Their durable exoskeleton and protected lifestyle inside underground galleries allow them to successfully survive harsh winters by entering a state of controlled hibernation. Fact 67. One source indicates that in the natural environment, the average lifespan of an adult worker ant is up to 3 years. During this time, a worker ant manages to change several professions, bringing colossal benefit to the colony and carrying loads over its lifetime that exceed its own weight thousands of times. Fact 68. Another scientific work records that under ideal domestic or laboratory housing conditions, an individual worker ant is capable of living up to 5 years. In artificial formicariums, where there are no predators, parasites, or sudden temperature changes, simple workers display striking records of longevity. Fact 69. The queen, or mother of the ant nest, lives many times longer than ordinary worker individuals, being the main biological long-liver of the community. Her organism is a masterpiece of evolution, protected around the clock by the best warriors, receiving the highest quality food, and completely exempt from heavy physical labor. Fact 70. An ant queen is capable of living up to a record 30 years, continuously providing reproduction and stable replenishment of the superorganism's population. Over her long life, she is capable of laying millions of eggs, remaining the sole biological heart and inexhaustible source of life for the entire multi-thousand-strong city. Fact 71. In certain unique laboratory sources, scientific estimates of an ant queen's age meet verified records of up to 50 years. This is an absolute record of longevity among all known insects, which prompts gerontologists worldwide to actively study cell repair mechanisms in the organisms of queens. Fact 72. A phenomenally long life for the queen is critically necessary for the stability of the entire colony, because with the death of the queen, the entire anthill often perishes irrevocably. Without her specific pheromones holding the society together, worker individuals lose their orientation, stop maintaining the nest, and new generations cease to appear. Fact 73. In matters of nutrition and survival, ants have shown themselves to be absolute pragmatists, as they are almost completely omnivorous. Their diet is plastic and changes depending on the season, the needs of the colony, and the availability of resources in a specific ecosystem, allowing them to survive even during periods of severe food scarcity. Fact 74. Ants can consume the sugary secretions of other insects, the juice of ripe wild fruits, and the sweet nectar of flowers with equal appetite. Carbohydrate food is the primary high-calorie fuel for adult worker ants, giving them colossal energy for multi-hour running and hauling heavy items. Fact 75. Certain warlike ant species actively hunt small animals, earthworms, spiders, slugs, and caterpillars. A bombardment of protein is critically necessary for the colony to feed ravenous, growing larvae and maintain the reproductive health of the queen, which is why ants act as formidable collective predators. Fact 76. Other ant species, such as harvester ants, purposefully gather seeds, grains, and various succulent parts of wild herbaceous plants. They specialize exclusively in collecting grain, grinding it with their powerful mandibles into a nutritious flour capable of being stored in underground silos for years without spoiling. Fact 77. To efficiently carry and distribute food among all family members, ants developed a special organ called a social stomach. This is a unique anatomical expansion of the esophagus, completely isolated from the ant's own digestive system by a special valve, which functions as a collective vault for storing liquid resources. Fact 78. This social stomach is structured to allow a forager ant to retain liquid food inside itself without digesting it, so that it can then return to the nest and share it with nestmates through a process of regurgitating droplets. This mutual feeding process is called trophallaxis. The insects touch antennae, and one ant passes a drop of nutritious syrup straight into the jaws of another. Fact 79. Thanks to this unique liquid exchange mechanism via the social stomach, ants can centrally feed the queen, hidden deep in the nest, helpless larvae, and those workers who never leave the underground tiers. The entire colony turns out to be firmly linked by a single liquid trophic network that distributes calories, vitamins, and even hormonal signals among millions of individuals with ideal social justice. Fact 80. Certain progressive anti-species have completely transitioned to a path of autonomous agriculture and purposefully cultivate real fungi themselves. They do not depend at all on the whims of the weather or accidental hunting prey, having created completely self-contained biotechnology factories inside their underground bunkers that are protected from external influences. Fact 81. The famous leafcutter ants are globally renowned for their advanced mushroom farming, turning fresh, chewed tree leaves into a nutritious substrate for mycelium. They cut pieces of greenery, bring them to chambers, sterilize them with their saliva, and plant a unique type of fungus on them that is found nowhere else in the wild independently. Fact 82. Remarkable honeypot ants have adapted to store sugary liquid food straight inside the bodies of specific individuals in their colony, turning them into living honey barrels. These living containers hang motionless from the ceilings of deep chambers, swelling to the size of a grape, and during a dry, hungry season, the entire colony comes to them to receive a portion of syrup. Fact 83. Defending the nest is a serious matter, and one must firmly remember that by no means are all existing ant species harmless to humans and large animals. Their tiny size is deceptive. Nature has equipped them with a whole arsenal of chemical and mechanical weapons capable of forcing even massive, warm-blooded predators to retreat. Fact 84. In some aggressive ant species, very painful bites with jaws and powerful stings with a hidden venomous stinger have been recorded. The venom injected by them into a wound contains complex formic acids, neurotoxins, and histamines, which cause instant severe swelling, burning, and can trigger a dangerous allergic reaction. Fact 85. The tropical bullet ant is deservedly recognized by scientists as one of the most painful insects for a human on our entire planet. The pain index from its sting on the International Schmidt scale reaches the maximum 4th level, surpassing the intensity and agony of stings from any wild wasps, bees, and hornets. Fact 86. A bullet ant sting causes severe throbbing and burning pain that can fail to subside and torment a person for an entire 24 hours without interruption. Local indigenous tribes of South America still use these ants for brutal initiation rituals for boys, forcing them to put on gloves filled with the living insects. Fact 87. Certain nomadic ant species are widely known for their highly aggressive, fearless, and destructive collective defense of territory. Army ants know no fear or mercy. Their multi-thousand-strong vanguard instantly attacks any living creature that makes the mistake of being in the path of their movement. Fact 88. Nomadic and migratory ants fundamentally do not build permanent nests, spending their entire lives attacking en masse and moving through tropical jungles in colossal living columns. Their temporary camps are biostructures woven from the bodies of the worker ants themselves, who lock legs tightly around the queen during rest. Fact 89. The coordinated, rapid, and mass attack of nomadic ants is deadly to many small and slow-moving animals caught in their path. Lizards, snakes, nestlings in bird nests, and injured mammals caught unawares are instantly covered by thousands of biting insects and disassembled to clean bones within hours. Fact 90. To wage successful combat operations and hunt, ants masterfully use not only their mandibles, but also special acid or stinging defense mechanisms. Wood ants, for example, can lift their abdomen and aim and spray streams of concentrated acid over a distance of up to 30 centimeters, blinding an enemy. Fact 91. The ecological role of ants on a global planetary scale is immense, as they actively participate in distributing the seeds of a huge variety of plant species. This process is called myrmecockery. Plants specially equip their seeds with nutritious and tasty appendages so that ants drag them into their underground bins, dispersing them through the forest. Fact 92. Ants colossally help the soil become looser and more fertile by constantly moving and mixing its deep and surface layers. By digging up the earth during the construction of labyrinths, ants bring useful mineral salts to the surface and enrich lower horizons with organic matter, working like natural plows. Fact 93. With their countless underground galleries, ants significantly improve the overall aeration and natural drainage of the soil. Through these millions of microscopic ventilation shafts, atmospheric oxygen and rainwater easily penetrate deep to the roots of trees, saving the soil from souring and overcompaction. Fact 94. Ants destroy a colossal number of forest pests daily, effectively regulating the population of ravenous caterpillars, sawflies, and bark beetles. A single large anthill during the warm summer season is capable of completely clearing the surrounding forest of hundreds of thousands of harmful insects, preserving the health of trees. Fact 95. Due to their hunting activity, ants can reliably protect trees and herbaceous plants from destructive insect pests. Foresters often specially distribute anthills across the taiga and oak forests, knowing that these tiny sanitarians handle forest protection more effectively and cleanly than any chemical spraying. Fact 96. Certain species of higher plants and ants have learned to live in an inextricable, mutually beneficial symbiosis over millions of years of coevolution. Myrmecophytic plants provide ants with hollow thorns or stems to set up safe nests and secrete nectar, and in return, the ants fiercely attack any herbivorous animals and destroy parasitic vines. Fact 97. Through their multifaceted activity, ants effectively help maintain the fragile balance of absolutely all terrestrial ecosystems on our planet. They are a vital link in food chains, serving as a primary and irreplaceable food source for hundreds of species of birds, bears, lizards, toads, and specialized mammals. Fact 98. The large above-ground mounds of anthills frequently serve as an important structure-forming component and precise biological indicator of the forest environment. By the condition, shape, population density, and activity of a specific anthill, ecologists can flawlessly determine air pollution levels, soil moisture, and the overall well-being of a forest. Fact 99. It is precisely because of their colossal impact on the biosphere that ants are rightfully considered some of the most successful and biologically progressive insects on the planet. Their ability to dominate, alter landscapes for their needs, and survive any cataclysms places them on the same tier of evolutionary success as humans. Fact 100. The global planetary success of ants is entirely explained by three fundamental factors: iron internal discipline, absolute cooperation among individuals, and the highest adaptability. These three pillars allowed them to survive eras of global catastrophes, colonize the planet, and create a perfect civilization that flourishes right beneath our feet. 100 facts. And yet, it feels as if we have barely pulled back the veil of secrecy over their amazing civilization. A tiny superorganism, born at the dawn of time, continues to build its invisible cities right under our feet, proving that true strength and greatness lie not in size, but in unity and devotion to one's common home. If this story turned out to be useful and interesting for you, I would be sincerely grateful for your support. My U-Money number is listed in the description of this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the Wild World channel. New videos about the most amazing secrets of nature and animals come out here every week, and the next one will absolutely surprise you.